Hey, everybody, and welcome to Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is your Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
And your Lord of Pennies is here as well. Say hello, Satsu.
Hello, Satsu.
And I am your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey. And how are you guys tonight? How you doing, Satsu?
I'm good. I took Squishy out to eat earlier today to save the world, actually, because she was on a rampage at work earlier, and she was like crying and upset because the person who was supposed to show up didn't, and they were like 2 hours late, and she had to get some stuff done, but she couldn't because all this shit was going on, and she was not happy. And I'm like, oh god, I need to get some food and alcohol in this woman immediately, or so I saved somebody's life today. I don't know who.
I saw the picture of the cake you posted. That looked good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Unfortunately, at that point, I was already like fucking like Jesus.
Full.
I can't eat anything. Yeah.
They did something on that plate that drives me nuts, and I don't understand why they do it. I know it makes the plate look nice, but they like crisscrossed the chocolate sauce and the other sauce just on the damn plate.
I thought it was a nice touch. It made it look.
It looks nice, but that's just at that point you're just making the plate dirty. You might as well just buy a plate with that pattern on it.
Well, I mean, it's ice cream, so there's no good end result to what's gonna happen there. The plate's gonna look a hot ass mess anyway.
Scribbles, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I spent a lot of time watching Arrow today. I binged a little bit of the latest season of Arrow, going through them one by one, and so far it's all right. Other than that, I have a comic book cover.
I saw that.
I have a comic book cover. Let me
And it's awesome.
Let me screen share here in a second as soon as I get that squared away. Where do I do that again? I haven't done that in so long.
If you go to the little green box at the upper left when you move your mouse over the
green box and the oh, all right, gotcha. This is how long it's been since I've done this. All right. So there you go, if you can see it now.
Hang on, let me present you to everyone so it's there. Gotta turn up my bandwidth to see it. I have mine down. Wait, I can't see it.
You can't see it?
Yeah, I can't see it either. I'm actually contemplating buying myself a new mic.
Well, you are presenting to everyone, it's telling me. So if you can't see it, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Did you? Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, there it is, guys. It's a black screen.
That is really weird. Okay. Well,
you can also see it over on the Twitter machine.
Yeah, just go to Scribe's Twitter.
Yeah, I have. I pinned it to the top of my Twitter profile, so it'll be the first thing you see there. And anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to Grisella for putting that together. I am blown away by everything about it. I especially like the custom walking stick he designed with the light bulb at the head of it and the sort of quill point at the tip. And I really like that.
Grizz, you've got mad skill, dude.
Yeah. And the PEP MD I'm holding.
Yes.
Yes. Don't want any copyright infringement or nothing, but yeah, that's really cool. So thank you so much.
I am in a good mood. My wife has come back to me.
Yay! Why did she leave?
To go visit her dad.
Oh, okay.
Don't lie, monkey. It's because you've been fucking up. Get your shit together, boy. She won't leave you.
She'd have left a long time ago if that was the problem. I am a beneficiary of her low standards, but yeah, she just got back tonight, so the stream got up a little bit late. I tried to do it an hour before stream time, but it was like 10 minutes this time. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I was hanging out with her, and she's going to be on her way to bed in a few minutes. So, with that, is there anything we need to talk about?
No.
Other than the stream tonight.
Okay. With that, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones movies, hit that like button, y'all, and share our stuff far and wide. I don't do much anymore, but these two lovely gentlemen do, and they deserve your support.
Sarah Plyer wants us to know that Poisoning the Well is currently live.
Somebody go over there and tell Fane that Ranting Monkey said to kiss his butt.
You should just DM him and just say, "Hey there, sailor.
Kiss my monkey butt."
I want to do this through intermediaries.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes. Yes. Who shall send such a message to Poisoning the Well, as they are live when we are live, when they should know better? I wonder if anyone would do such a thing. I wonder.
DDJ said, "What happened to Subliminal?" I don't know.
Subliminal in a noticeable way. Oh wait, that's a They Might Be Giant song. My bad.
If it's something happening online today, guys, I have no idea. I barely got any sleep last night. I spent what little time I was awake today, and coherent. I've been awake for a while. I haven't been coherent for hours. But I was robbing banks earlier. Payday 2 was on sale, and I picked it up. It's fun. It's a little bit repetitive, but it's fun. And then I played some of the Division, which Satsu talked me into getting in. That was fun too.
DDJ says, I just noticed his videos are gone. Subliminal.
I'm not sure.
Am I blanking on who that is? I obviously am if I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I'm completely out of the loop on that. If anybody knows, let us know. With that, Scribbles, do we have news today?
We do have news today.
Do we have news worth hearing today?
That
Am I going to be sad at the end of this?
No. I mean, worth hearing is in the eye of the beholder, but I guess we'll find out. You tell me. Let's see. Trump criticizes Justin Trudeau and says U.S. won't endorse the G7 communique. President Donald Trump on Saturday accused Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of making, quote, false statements and said that the U.S. will not endorse a G7 communique. Quote, based on Justin's false statements at his news conference and the fact that Canada is charging massive tariffs to our U.S. farmers, workers, and companies, I have instructed our U.S. reps not to endorse the communique as we look at tariffs on automobiles flooding the U.S. market, the president tweeted on Saturday. In a second tweet, President Trump said, PM Justin Trudeau of Canada acted so meek and mild during our G7 meetings, only to give a news conference after I left saying that, quote, U.S. tariffs were kind of insulting and he, quote, will not be pushed around. Very dishonest and weak. Our tariffs are in response to his 270% on dairy. Damn.
Well, did you ever see, I don't even know what it's from, but there's the video of Trump and Trudeau at some big international meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is talking to somebody and Trudeau's in the background being Canadian, just being too nice to go up to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he just looks so sad. And I believe Trump's interpretation of that. I don't see Justin being manly face to face. Sorry, Canadians. Your prime minister's kind of a wuss.
It's so funny that people are getting upset at the way Trump is handling these situations, but like I just can't help but appreciate him like keeping it real. Just like no, cut that weak shit out. You know why? You know why the fuck I did what I did. You ain't say shit when I was there. Now you want to speak up?
I just saw, I don't know if it's a story you have, but I just saw George Soros is all upset the world's going to hell.
No.
And he blames Trump.
Well, of course.
And part of it is, he didn't even think Trump was going to win. But part of it is definitely because of the G7 summit and what's going on with like Korea and stuff. It's been a while since we've had a president like this. And yes, he's made mistakes, but on the international stage, other than being insulting to world leaders on Twitter, which you need to stop, Mr. President, he's getting shit done. I mean,
let's see. Trump's tweets taking aim at the leader of a country that has long been a U.S. ally came after the president left the G7 summit in Canada to travel to Singapore ahead of a planned diplomatic meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Earlier in the day, Trudeau said during a news conference that Canada will, quote, move forward with retaliatory measures on July 1st in response to the Trump administration's decision to impose tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from Canada, the European Union, and Mexico. Quote, I have made it very clear to the president that it is not something we relish doing, but it is something that we will absolutely do, Trudeau said. Canadians, we're polite, we're reasonable, but we also will not be pushed around. Trump addressed the subject of international trade during an impromptu news conference at the summit on Saturday, saying that he does not want to see other countries take advantage of the U.S. over trade. Quote, it's going to change, he said. Tariffs will come way down. We're like the piggy bank that everybody is robbing, and that ends. He added, quote, if they retaliate, they're making a mistake. We have a tremendous trade imbalance.
Yeah, it's true, we do.
Well, it is what it is, man. Basically, from my perspective and what I see, all of these countries are getting upset because America's not their bitch anymore, and they're just like, well, hey, how dare you not let us fucking take advantage of you anymore? Like, what do you think you're doing? And they're upset because they've been on easy street for a while, and now they have to actually work for this shit or fucking try to negotiate, and they're like, nah, we don't want to do that, so they're getting mad. But fuck it, man. I mean, if that's what it takes to get us a fair deal, then fuck it.
Real quick in chat, Emily says, aren't the tariffs implemented against us way higher than the tariffs we have on others? I can't speak to that directly. I know other people do have tariffs on us. And Trump has been really beating this dairy one with Canada. But I haven't looked deep enough to say yes or no to that.
Let's see. In other international news, a Mexican candidate had just vowed to tackle crime, then a gunman shot him dead.
Jesus Christ.
The Mexican congressional candidate had just left a debate hall where he addressed public security in his northern state. He walks over to a person holding a phone and poses for a picture. In a matter of seconds, a man walks up from behind and shoots him in the head, killing him before walking off. The death Friday night of Coahuila, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, Coahuila, Coahuila, state's Fernando Perón, brought to 112 the number of candidates or politicians killed since the launch of Mexico's electoral campaign in September.
Jesus Christ, how many?
112 candidates or politicians.
God damn.
Perón was the first candidate running on the federal level to be killed. Perón's Institutional Revolutionary Party, PRI, confirmed his death, which was recorded on black and white surveillance camera footage that soon circulated on social media. While not clear enough to show the killer's face, the video brought into focus the dangers Mexican candidates face ahead of the July 1st election. Thousands of posts, including the presidency, are up for grabs. Quote, the Institutional Revolutionary Party condemns the attack suffered by our candidate Fernando Perón in the city of Piedras Negras. We demand some clarity from the authorities on what happened and an appropriate punishment for those responsible for his death. Police have made no arrests in the case. In its latest report on political violence in Mexico, which includes all registered deaths from September 2017 through June 9th, Etelic, I guess that's the polling company, includes geographical and party affiliation data on the politicians and candidates who were killed. At least 39 of the victims were from Perón's PRI party, 18 were from the Party of the Democratic Revolution, and 13 were from the National Action Party, according to Etelic. Perón, a former mayor of Piedras Negras, had been asked during the Friday debate how he would improve public security in the state of Coahuila if elected. Quote, we have to face crime head on. That's darkly ironic. Yeah. We cannot be afraid. We must call it by its name, Perón said, according to the Mexican newspaper Vanguardia. Fellow PRI member Sonia Villarreal, who is running for re-election as mayor of Piedras Negras, said Saturday she is suspending her campaign indefinitely. Quote, after the cowardly attack against my friend and colleague Fernando Perón, I have decided to suspend my campaign indefinitely to concentrate on my mayoral duties, she said in a statement. We don't want his name to be just one more added to the list of candidates who have been victims of these deplorable acts. Candidates have been killed in 22 of Mexico's 32 states during the campaign. The state with the highest death toll is Guerrero, where 23 have been killed. President Enrique Peña Nieto, who took office December 1st, 2012, and cannot run for re-election, has been criticized by many Mexicans for his inability to tame drug-related crimes during his time in office. More than 25,000 homicides were registered in Mexico last year.
Huh.
I don't know how many homicides happen in America on an average year.
About, I want to say it's like 44. No, that's suicides. Homicide is.
I'm curious. Maybe if you
I
find
used to know this.
Anyway, that is the highest number since the government of Mexico started tracking the data 2 decades ago. Politicians on the campaign trail have been promising to tackle cartel violence. Current presidential frontrunner Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador has proposed opening dialogue and even offering amnesty to some cartel leaders. Right. Is that like paying them to not kill people? I remember that theory. He also said he would appeal to U.S. leaders to do more to curb Americans' drug use. Legalize pot. Ta-da!
Real quick, thank you, Cryptic. Every country places 100% or higher tariffs on U.S., and we're talking about allies. Canada, Mexico, and the EU can suck our salty nuts. Fair enough.
Let's see. And last sentence. Mexican drug cartels take in between $19 and $29 billion annually from drug sales in the United States.
Now I'm just going to throw this out there. Okay. Maybe with better border security, we could stem some of the drug intake.
That is blasphemous, sir.
Legalize pot.
Yeah, well,
regulate it.
The problem is most of the drug stuff isn't pot. It's opioids and coke.
Legalize coke.
Legalize coke.
Yep.
I do believe Coca-Cola is legal here.
Make Mexico great again. Legalize coke.
That might work.
I don't mean to laugh. That is absolutely horrible. 112 people since September.
Yes.
That is horrible.
Can you imagine if anything, even a fraction of that happened in this country?
Yeah, no shit. You know what they need?
What would they need?
They need David Hogg to go down there and talk to them about guns.
Oh, Lord.
What?
Yeah. They need David Hogg to go lay in their grocery stores.
That'll do it. That'll solve the problem.
Yeah, so they can shove a stick into his spine and use him to mop the floor.
Whoa!
That's what
Jesus.
That's the
violence, Satsu.
That's not me. I watch movies sometimes.
You watch movies sometimes.
Gallagher says, I thought we had that happening in Chirac. Not like that. You don't have your political leaders being gunned down in broad daylight in front of everybody as they give a speech, for fuck's sake.
Well, yeah, you remember, oh my God, I suddenly forgot her name. The lady who was shot in the...
Giffords.
Gifford, yeah, Kathy Giffords. Gabby Gifford. Sorry. I completely blanked just then. It's one of those situations where you just have it right in your head, and as soon as you try to say it out loud, poof, it disappears. Yeah, when Gabby Giffords got shot, that was national news forever. And rightly so. 112 in Mexico? Holy shit.
Yeah, thank you, Data. Data says there were 17,250 reported murder and non-negligent manslaughter cases in the U.S. in 2016. So
17 versus 25,000.
Or yeah.
God damn.
And we have a much higher population, if I'm correct. Last time,
I believe so, yes.
That's crazy.
I just like that their solution is the U.S. needs to stop using drugs, which probably isn't wrong. I mean, it helps because that's where money's coming from. But it's not that they need to get rid of the cartels. No.
Or they need to negotiate with the cartels, and America needs to stop using drugs.
Thank you, James Colley. Dear sirs, legalizing just Coke, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper reps will be pissed.
Let's see. Well, lastly, I have a story that I picked out specifically because of Monkey's old career as a Bill Maher blogger. And I didn't know. I haven't watched real time or clips of it in so long. I don't know what's going on over there. But this is written by Dean Obeidallah on CNN. This is an opinion piece. So, Bill Maher is wrong to root for a recession. I didn't know that Bill Maher was rooting for a recession, but then I don't watch the show. Bill Maher may have made his cruelest and most ill-informed comment yet, and that says a lot given his track record on his HBO show Friday night. Yes, the host of something called Politically Incorrect said something cruel and ill-informed. Okay.
Well, now it's real time, so.
That's true. Maher, during a discussion of the economy under Donald Trump, acknowledged that it was, quote, going pretty well. Then Maher, the sometimes liberal, shared his hope that the economy would tank to hurt Trump politically. Quote, I feel like the bottom has to fall out at some point, and by the way, I'm hoping for it. I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy, unquote. He then jaw-droppingly added, quote, so please, bring on the recession. Sorry if that hurts people, but it's either root for a recession or you lose your democracy, unquote.
You know, I'm so tired of this shit about. Oh God, look. Trump being president has not threatened democracy at all. Not even a little bit. He was actually democratically elected.
Was he? I thought the Russians did it.
I know. It's weird.
Those meddling kids.
It fucks me up how much people are willing to give up in order to get rid of just one person that they don't like.
Well, it's like let's burn down the house to get rid of a flea, for fuck's sake. You
have to go back to the last election, and the mantra coming from Hillary and her side was, if Trump wins, everything's going to shit. The economy is going to tank. He's actually been retweeting her. I'm sorry, I just got texted from my beautiful wife. And it hasn't happened. In fact, the exact opposite has happened. And he's been able to brag about things like excessively low black unemployment rates, which is funny. Real quick, thank you, Cryptic. Soros is a threat to democracy across the world. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that, because he's a globalist dickhole. And he's proudly so, guys. That's not me labeling him as anything. The idea that you would root for the economy to go south, one, ignores history very recently. Under Clinton, it's the economy, stupid, and with Clinton, it absolutely was. Things were burning on all cylinders. It was great. But since then, we've had two presidents who weren't doing really great economically. They weren't horrible, but they weren't doing really great, and still got reelected. So it's not like the economy has had that much. We would have to have a serious recession, like as bad as Obama told us the Bush one had been, to where it actually was the Great Depression again, for it to matter at this point, I think, especially with Trump, because he's not the candidate you guys think he is. Sorry, Bill.
Yeah, it's super weird to be watching this, because they're like, black people need more jobs and more representation, and we need to up their standing in the community. Trump's doing that right now. God damn it! I wish he wasn't. Yeah. Because that makes him look good. So I'd sacrifice those black people doing good just to get him out of office, because I have no actual convictions or morals or anything that I stand for. I just, I'll just go against it at any moment.
Well, yeah, the black unemployment rate is actually fantastic. It's still higher than the white unemployment rate, but it's always, well, not always, since I think the 60s has been higher than whites. And for it to be turning around and for then people to be going, we need to, this economy needs to crash. Like, sorry, Negroes, we got to get rid of Trump. We'll get to you next time.
Yeah. Not that the process itself will get rid of Trump either. Next year, or no, not next year, in 2020 or 4 years thereafter. Like, at most, you're going to have to another 10 years of them at most. That's it. So who gives a shit? Just settle down, people.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't know. Which is why I get mad at hypocrisy so much.
10 years. I can't do math in my head. Forget I said anything. I can't do math.
You meant 6 years, y'all.
I meant 6 years. What the?
You added an extra term there.
Yeah, I did because I was thinking like FDR. What do I know?
Yeah, there you go.
No, but that's why I get mad at hypocrisy so much or whatever, because you would think like if I don't know, I guess if a terrible person who did like really horrible things had gotten locked up and done his time or whatever and ended up curing cancer, I'd be like, good on him for fucking curing cancer. He did a bunch of horrible shit, but cool. That's very awesome of you for this time. But other people like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it doesn't matter if he cured cancer. Like, fuck that dude. Just like, why though? Like,
BG in chat, I do want to address what you said there. He says, kind of like Democrats only care about black votes and don't give a shit about helping them.
Yeah,
I don't think that's necessarily true. Because if you listen to them, they honestly think people like Satsu here are almost back to slavery. I mean, they've convinced themselves of this, that civil rights have just been completely rolled back, and women are back in the kitchen, and blacks are back in the cotton fields, and Asians are out there working on train tracks. Gay people are dying in the streets. They have themselves convinced that this is actually happening in the country right now. And if that was happening, then yeah, you know what? Unemployment might be secondary to fixing all of those things. The problem is they're a bunch of fucking idiots. They're delusional.
Well, I wonder if they have themselves convinced of that, or are they trying really hard to get black people to be convinced of that?
Oh, no. Well, I can't speak for all of them, but I do know from talking to people on Twitter, I mean, some of these people definitely seem to believe this shit. And if they don't actually believe it, they sell it like they do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get what they're, I mean, again, always remember, guys, and we've talked about this before, it's not always necessarily them being evil or being mean or only wanting the black vote. They honestly believe that they're doing the right thing. They're just, they're wrong.
Yeah. Well, the road to hell is paved in good intention. Is that the saying?
Yes. Backscan says, well, he does have to hear two white people sing happy birthday, so that's close to slavery, isn't it?
I'd say that's pretty close, actually.
That's fucked up. We sing good, yo.
You sing well.
No, we sing good. Okay. The only other story I had, you said that was your last one, right?
Yeah,
Scribe?
that was it. Yep.
And I don't even have it pulled up. It was just the George Soros thing with him whining about Trump, and he's vowed not to get involved in the 2020 election.
Yeah. Okay.
Visibly, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, we'll see. He is spending $15 million on the 2018 campaign.
Oh, well.
You know what's funny? They just had the primaries all around the country, and a bunch of George Soros-backed candidates in California lost. And George Soros actually said, we didn't make inroads into California. When you're that liberal and you can't make inroads into California, it might be time to rethink your strategy. It's fucking California. Anyhow, so guys, with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to MSS News. If there's a story you'd like us to read on the air, hit us up at the hashtag MSS News over on Twitter. Can't promise we'll get to all of them, but we do appreciate every contribution we get. Scribe, take it away.
You're so good at that. God, I almost feel like I'm on a real show or something. First one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. So let's see. Now, just as a reminder, last night we had at a Walmart. What was the activity at the Walmart?
A dude molested a fake horse.
Yes, a 19-year-old man fucked a fake horse in front of everyone to completion. Well, the trend continues, but this time at Target.
Oh,
Police.
shit.
Man walked around Target exposing himself for $20.
Wait.
Hold on. Exposing himself for $20? So he got paid to do it?
I know as much as you do at this point.
Okay.
Richard Kuhn, 21, was charged with indecent exposure. A man who told police his friends dared him to expose himself at a store was arrested and charged without incident. Charged with indecent exposure, on Wednesday, according to a police report. Suspect Richard Kuhn, 21, was released Thursday on a $3,000 bond. On May 22nd, 3 women in separate reports told Ocala police that a man exposed himself to them at Target. The first woman said she was in the home decor section when she noticed someone behind her. She said when she looked over at the person, she saw a man's genitals. She reported the incident to Target employees. A second woman said she was in the cold food section when she turned around and saw a man exposing himself. A third woman said she was in a woman's clothing aisle when a man walked up and exposed himself. Target employees found the man and detained him until an officer arrived. The women gave the officer a similar description. The officers identified the suspect as Kuhn and interviewed him at the store. He told police he was at the store with friends when they told him they would give him $20 if he walked around in Target and exposed himself. And there you go. Was it worth it? I suppose not.
It's not. Good night, baby. I'm so happy you're home.
Oh, hug the lady monkey. Oh.
She's actually coming around to my desk. She must have missed me.
Oh.
You leave my shit alone.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, lady monkey.
Scribble said hi. Satsu's ignoring you.
Well,
I didn't even get a chance to say hi.
Maybe hi to Satsu.
Hi.
He said hi.
Hello, my chat loves.
Monkey
James
stopped
Colley.
me before I could and then said I didn't.
Thank you, James Colley. Just a thought and it's gone. That is all.
Cool.
I appreciate that. We just heard a story about a guy whose friends paid him $20 to expose himself to women in Target, and he did it.
Wow.
Yeah. That's going to cost him a bit more.
Yeah, $3,000 bond for a
Yeah.
$20 exposure.
I'm all for, friends egging you on to do stupid shit, but guys, don't do illegal shit. That's not even worth it. $20.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I thought you were gonna say I'm all for exposing
I'll
yourself
try
in
to get
public.
your stream this week.
She's talking over you, Satsu. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. You win. I'll mute his ass. Go ahead.
Damn.
I came home. I did not bring the cow.
Thank you, Circus Zero. Glad you're home safe, Lady Monkey. Don't forget, guys, I am running like 14 different fundraisers right now. There's the fuck Anita Sarkeesian one, the fuck Candace Owens one.
The Get Lady Monkey a Baby Cow one.
I can't have a cat, but you want a cow. Do you realize how nasty those things are?
Oh, they're so cute.
You've seen a cow poop.
Get a baby pig.
Cute, but they're cute.
They're cute on a bun with some ketchup.
Okay, can I have
No, you can't have a. What am I going to do? Stop you? I'm crippled.
the buffalo was super cute too.
I'm nervous with you standing there. My nipples like tingling.
No, I'm way too tired for that.
Is that like your spider sense? My nipples are tingling.
My nipples are tingling.
That's how he knows Lady Monkey's creeping up on him.
Yes, I can tell she's near. My nipples are tingling. I love you, baby.
Good night, everybody.
Good
I
night.
got your back. I will crawl into bed with you in a few hours. Sorry for the interruption there, guys. I'm not really, but Nope says 120 pounds of poop generation per day. Yeah, cows are nasty. What?
Free fertilizer.
For what? My yard grows too much as it is.
I don't know. We could have a garden.
We'll dump it on the neighbor's yawn. I'll dump it on his yawn too, because fuck that guy. Yeah, $20 to expose yourself, guys. That is just not smart.
Let's see. Hey, Monkey, do you remember the movie With Honors?
Yeah. Joe Pesci, Brendan Fraser.
Yes. Well, that's what I was reminded of when I read this headline. Homeless teen graduates at the top of his class. A homeless Utah teen had the odds against him, but without so much as the stability of a place to sleep at night, 18-year-old Thomas Schwab didn't just make it through those hard, awkward high school years. He graduated at the top of his class and maintained a hopeful outlook that should inspire us all. Schwab's family fell on hard times when the teen ended up homeless and alone for most of the 11th and 12th grade. Quote, "We weren't able to find another house to live in," he recalled. "I floated around from people's houses or I stayed outside." According to the local news, Schwab's mother moved away for a job and his siblings moved to stay with their father. Quote, "If I'm worried about whether I'm going to sleep tonight in a bush or if I'm going to be able to get a ride over to school or walk like 6 miles, it's very hard to focus on what you need to," said the teen. "Will I be able to stay warm tonight or will it rain? How will I stay dry? What if somebody comes and tries to stake my stuff?" But that never stopped Schwab from challenging himself in the classroom and ending up as a top Murray High School graduate, and not to mention maintaining an infectious positive attitude. Quote, "I love learning," he said, adding, "I love education and I love improving myself. I feel education is one of the best ways to become a better person. School has always been very important to me. When it comes to opportunities," he says, "I always take advantage of them." Schwab is graduating with a 4.0 GPA and says he's never earned a score lower than an A. He was also voted most intellectual by his classmates. The new graduate says he found some stability with assistance from the Salt Lake County Milestone Transitional Living Program. Quote, "The program aims to end the cycle of homelessness and dependency by helping young adults, ages 18 to 21, become self-sufficient through access to safe housing, stable employment, and connections to ongoing support and resources." Let's see, does it say anything about where he's going to go next? "I'm going to join the Navy, and I will be going through the nuclear engineering program, which is the hardest program in the Navy," he told the news. "I've got the dedication and wherewithal to do so, so I'm pretty set in stone about it." Well, good for him.
Hell yeah, man.
Good for him.
Good job.
That's what I like to hear. That's some good shit right there.
You know what he should do?
What?
He should open a Discord server for $25,000.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Talk about nuclear submarines for $25,000.
I have a friend who actually is in the nuclear sub or the nuclear program in the Navy, and that shit is no joke. Just getting in is no joke. So good for him, man.
That makes my lazy, procrastinating heart smile with joy.
Jim says Navy nuke program, he'll never see the sun again. That is true, but
Probably.
He'll get 3 squares a day and have a roof over his head. So
Right.
Read Gregory Hurst.
Thank you, Gregory Hurst. I know a way he can make a quick $20. Jesus Christ.
That's great. Let's see. I got one gross story and I have one ridiculous story. You want the gross one or the ridiculous one?
Let's do ridiculous first.
Okay, this one comes from Captain Brambles. Man abandons baby after being mocked for having too many kids.
But
What a douchebag.
A dad has been caught on camera kissing his 3-day-old baby on the head before abandoning it in a church. Bitto Davis from Kerala, India, 32, and his 28-year-old wife, Pravitha, were later arrested after the chilling footage was aired on local TV. Church security staff found the baby at 8:30 p.m. Thursday and called police. They then review the CCTV, which shows the dad strolling in before carefully placing his child on the ground. He then walks away, but seemingly cannot help glancing back at the child one last time. When police detained the man and his wife, they reportedly claimed they had abandoned their own child because people laughed at them for having too many kids. It has been reported friends and family had mocked Pravitha for becoming pregnant again. A police officer told the Indian Express, quote, "They already have 3 sons aged 8, 6, and 4, and this was their 4th child." Bitto spoke of getting mocked by his friends for having 4 children in such quick succession, and I think that is why he was disturbed. His friends would often apparently comment on the size of his wife's belly and keep prodding whether she's pregnant. After his wife's delivery, they took a train to Kochi and arrived at the church to leave the baby. The couple was charged with child abandonment and cruelty charges.
Thank you, James Colley. That story just fucked up any argument that they don't have the resources to be successful. Talking about the one before.
Homelessness? Yeah.
You are a shitty person if you abandon your child because your friends are making fun of you.
yeah.
I cannot even fathom that as a father. I want to punch this guy in the face.
How about protection?
I worry for the existing children if that is how this guy operates, or he and his wife. Okay, on to the gross story. This one comes from Massive Dynamics. South Florida man, 78, is accused of giving herpes to a 10-year-old girl.
Oh my God.
A South Florida man was arrested Wednesday after he gave a 10-year-old girl herpes, police said. Joseph Yeba, 78, faces charges of sexual assault, lewd and lascivious molestation, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. The girl's mother filed a police report Tuesday after her daughter went to an emergency room at Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood with a burning sensation in her vagina. A doctor later confirmed that she has herpes. When the girl's mother questioned her about it, she was told, quote, Joe had kissed her private area with his mouth, made her touch his penis, and showed her different types of child pornography. Okay. After Yeba was arrested, thankfully, he told a police officer, quote, I know it's that bitch. From what you read, she's the only one that I know with a kid, according to the affidavit. Oh, he's blaming the mother. Detectives said they found sex toys in a closet along with pornographic DVDs. He's being held without bond. Throw him in a pit forever, please.
Oh, no, not in a pit. Throw him right into the center of the yard.
There you go. Yep, there you go.
Because herpes will be the least of his problems once he gets all the way into prison.
All right. This one comes from Jack, the motherfucking cockring. Hell, this might be monkey video territory. If I know
if monkey did that.
If monkey did that. Feminist college course questions if science can be, quote, objective.
Oh, for fuck's sake, that's the point of science.
Hobart and William Smith colleges will offer a feminist theory course next year that questions whether science can truly be objective. Philosophy 250, Feminism, Ethics, and Knowledge is a sophomore-level course taught by Karen Frost Arnold, a philosophy professor who also teaches classes such as Power, Privilege, and Knowledge, as well as Introduction to Women's Studies. Quote, this course examines various feminist critiques of traditional approaches to ethics and to knowledge, explains the course description, noting that the first half of the class will cover morality, while the latter half focuses on epistemology. Quote, historically, how has science contributed to the subordination of women? The course description asks. Are social and political considerations relevant to science? Is it possible for science to be objective? Though the description implies that students will debate whether science can be objective, the professor appears to have already made up her mind, as she ends the course description by asking, quote, what can be done to make science less biased, unquote?
Ignore the truth.
The course, sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact that a philosophy teacher is questioning whether or not science is objective.
Well, no, that makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And this is why I give philosophy such a hard time and all the soft sciences, because those aren't science. And it is easy to manipulate them into whatever you want them to be.
The course will also explore the shortcomings of traditional philosophy, asking, quote, are traditional moral theories adequate for addressing the problems that women face? Do women tend to think about morality differently than men do? What is feminist ethics? Unquote. The class is one of many feminist-themed courses offered by the school, such as, quote, topics in feminist health, which will teach students about issues such as feminist nutrition and feminist science studies. This reminds me of the feminist glacial theory from a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Did you say feminist nutrition?
Feminist nutrition. I assume that means the vaginal yeast bread.
Oh, God. Oh, dear God.
Others include feminist theater, which will explore how, quote, feminist theater practitioners work in coalition with other social justice movements, and food, feminism, and health, which will explore gendered food practices.
Gendered food practice. What the fuck?
Dude, why did we not?
Does that even mean?
Why did we not figure out a long time ago that you can just make up anything you want and turn it into something this big? Like, why didn't we catch on to this a long time ago? I would have loved to have caught on to that first and just like dominated the market.
I can't believe this shit is taken seriously.
It's fucking fascinating. It is actually
What
fascinating.
college was this?
This was Hobart and William Smith colleges.
Okay.
So, you want me to send you the article?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like me to send would you like me to send you the article that you might turn into a video?
For fuck's sake.
Monkey.
I can't handle
Feminist nutrition.
Yes, feminist nutrition. Imagine what that might be.
I don't even
Can you imagine? All right.
With
how many
that,
more
we're gonna call it for now. We might revisit it later, guys, depending on how slow deep topic time comes. But we're gonna move on to YouTube time.
We got a super chat.
Thank you, James Colley. Feminists don't have ethics. If they did, the movement would have died by now. Well, it's one of the problems with any movement that is successful. The people who are involved in it can't let go, so they have to find more and more things to be upset about, and it becomes a parody of itself. Satsu, what'd you work on today?
I did some editing, but that was it. Because soon after I woke up, Squishy got home from work and was like, "Food now," and I'm like, "Okay."
Food now.
So we went to go eat, and then I came home, and she's like, "Netflix and chill." I'm like, "All right, I see you got me the whole day. All right." So that was pretty much it. But yeah, the typical videos are up in the typical place. You guys know where to look.
Later tonight, me and Satsu will be going straight into Horde Night. If you guys enjoy watching us play 7 Days to Die, like 10 minutes after we start tonight will be Horde Night, guys. So over on 2 Cents Plus, come join us for that.
Horde Night?
Horde Night, yes. Scribbles, what did you work on?
I have started putting together what is going to turn into probably the next entry of Curriculum of Fear. A YouTube channel I'd never heard of before. I found randomly that has posted a series of videos of interviews with teachers at I think it's only one specific college. I'm not quite sure yet, but either way, they've chopped up these interviews with these teachers, and they're all concerning social justice in college classes. And I found a set of videos from one particular teacher that I found most interesting. And consequently, I've strung 3 of the clips together into one narrative, and I'm working on scripting that now. So if I get really industrious tomorrow, I might have everything ready to have it out by Monday, maybe Tuesday. We'll see. Or if I get really energized, I might have it out tomorrow. We'll see.
Weibo's in chat, and I just have one question for her. After going Greek for so long, does it hurt to sit down?
No.
What do we have for fucketry? I like I said, I haven't been on the internet today. Uh-oh. None of us knows.
Well, I mean, a lot of EA news, I guess, or E3 type stuff.
There was some more dusty fuckery today.
Oh, what did Mr. Smith do this time?
Basically, he's blaming Jordan Peterson for Saudi Arabia's stance on women.
Jesus fuck, what?
Yeah,
Really?
apparently, because I guess a popular Saudi account or some shit saw something that Jordan Peterson said and highlighted it in order to justify their position on segregation between the sexes. And he's like, I hope you guys are happy for blowing up Jordan Peterson and making him seem so important, and without challenging him, you guys are to thank for this. And I'm like, yeah, Jordan Peterson is the one that turned the Saudis around and pulled them away from gender equality. Like, yeah, it's his fault.
Now, what I'm assuming old Dusty's talking about is when Jordan Peterson asked if men and women should even be working together anymore. If they can work together, and frankly, I don't think they can. I think he's right on that, but that has nothing to do with Saudi Arabia. There's a
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, he said people like Bill Maher and fucking God damn it, I just had his name. Joe Rogan. Yeah, he said that because they brought him on their platforms and didn't challenge him. This is why Saudi Arabia, because if they did properly challenge him, Saudi Arabia would be like, oh, well, those guys have a good point. Like,
I didn't realize Saudi Arabia was that they worship Jordan so much.
I guess they do, and apparently
worship Jordan. Good job, monkey.
Oh,
Thank
damn,
you.
I completely missed that one. That was good. Well, yeah.
That's asinine. I honestly don't get the hatred Jordan gets. That Mr. Peterson gets. I get some of it, I guess, and like I said, I don't agree with him on everything. But like what he was talking about in this case, when he was talking about men and women not working together, is the fact that it has caused so many goddamn problems because men and women are so different. Mash, it's not that I forgot that it was just such a small thing. Yeah, Christy Winters tried to get Sugar Tits in trouble on Twitter.
On what basis?
Because Christy was talking shit and Sugar Tits laughed at her. She made a perfectly innocuous tweet, and that's YouTube, or not YouTube, Twitter came back and told her, look, this had been reported to us and we don't see a problem with it. So
the end.
That crazy bitch just needs to find a new hobby. So Fisty was Fisty again. Yeah. Love the JRE, but Joe rarely challenges his guests. Are you kidding? He does it all the time if he thinks they're wrong, and if he has something. The one thing about Joe, if he doesn't know, he'll actually say, I don't know enough to challenge you on that.
Right.
I've seen him say that many, many times. But if you watch the Steven Tyler one, he ripped into Steven Tyler a few times when Steven was bringing up some conspiracy theories. Like, no, you're wrong. Look it up. You're wrong. He does it. It's just fucking absurd to blame Jordan Peterson for Saudi Arabia.
I think the translation here is he doesn't challenge them in the way that we feel is adequate.
Well, then why don't you go do that, person who's criticizing Jordan Peterson? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Well, because Dusty wouldn't even get a response to Jordan. Be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Oh man. And what do you? I mean, I dare say the Kathy Newman video got more views than any of the other two, and that was nothing but challenging him.
Yeah, he is heavily challenged in the media by numerous people. So the fact that people are claiming that kind of these almost smaller people who do not have as big a platform as these major news platforms are just like, you guys aren't doing a good job, person who has an audience of a handful of people. It's like, what the fuck do you expect me to actually really do? I just want to talk to the motherfucker and pick his brain a little bit. But he's been on major news networks and had direct debates with people. Like, what the fuck else do you want?
Well, that's why watching the whole Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan interview the other day, they talked about that. The idea that if somebody comes on, he'll challenge him as much as he can, but he's not just going to challenge people for the sake of challenging them for, to be an asshole. He wants to have conversations with people. He wants to hear what they think. And that's not a bad thing. Rogan did everything short of calling Candace stupid for her views on climate change. I didn't get to watch all of that. I watched part of it, and yeah, it was kind of funny. I'm not even on the side of climate change, but yeah, she said some really stupid shit. She's one of those people that even though they're on my side on an issue, it's like, please shut up, please stop. You're not helping. Just stop. Yeah, that annoys me more than anything else when I'm arguing something and a moron jumps in on my side. It's like, stop. Just stop. Let's see. What else do we have here in our chat? Nothing. So, I don't know any other fucketry going on, so we can move on to the deep topics. Speaking of that Ben Shapiro thing, I'm going to get a little morose, I guess is the term.
Okay.
He brought up a subject we've discussed before, and I as I get older, I'm on the fence about the death penalty. This guy who gave the 10-year-old herpes, I'd really like him to be shot in the face if he actually did that.
Okay.
But I'm also of the opinion that it's too easy to get somebody who's not actually guilty.
Right.
With everything from genuinely mistaken witnesses, people who weren't trying to do bad, just the human mind plays tricks on you, to prosecutors who obviously are more interested in padding their numbers than they are justice. We see people all the time. You know, once DNA evidence became a thing, we were letting people out of jail left and right who'd been there forever for shit they didn't do because the DNA came back and cleared them. And if you think, you know, obviously somebody's gone to the chair or something like that because of it. On the other hand, which is worse? Going through, say, 15 years of trials, innocent and being put to death, or literally living, say, 60 years in prison and dying there, innocent. Is life in prison worse for an innocent man than the death penalty?
Life in prison worse than death penalty for an innocent person?
Yeah.
No, because at least time in prison means there's a possibility that things may be straightened out. I'll try to be succinct on this because I could go a very long time on death penalty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The death penalty is having the death penalty makes the assumption that the system has an infallible point because there is no reprieve from that punishment. You can't make it up. You can't correct it once it's done. So that is to say that there's some part of somebody who thinks that our justice system will never get it wrong. Because once you do get it wrong, you've just killed an innocent person. And we know that has happened. I'm not against the death penalty because I think people should be not punished for their crimes. But at the same token, if someone puts a dog to sleep, we call that an act of mercy.
Mm-hmm.
If you put somebody to sleep who's murdered somebody, we call that punishment. These are one and the same actions. There's no mechanical difference between the two. Death in that regard to me is an escape, not a punishment. If you're going to be punished, you should have to live every single day with the deprivation of all the things that freedom and the regular life of everybody else provides. And that's the only fair and safe way to dole out that kind of punishment, in my opinion.
What if it was a thing like only if there was beyond a reasonable doubt, like video evidence, clear video evidence?
No, the rule should hold true for everybody. You shouldn't just make an exception because beyond a reasonable doubt is the standard we use for all cases.
Well, this is for the punishment, not necessarily the case.
No, I don't think there should be loopholes when it comes to taking somebody's life in the course of justice.
All right, fair enough. To me, I just had never thought about it because as I said, as I've gotten older, I used to be strong. You know, you kill somebody, I have no problem if they kill you back.
Mm-hmm.
But with the really possibility of people not having done it, when they brought that up, it really hit me. Like I don't know which I would prefer if I was that man. Would I rather live in jail, getting molested by prisoners, having my living in a box for 40, 50, 60 years, which it's essentially a death sentence anyway. Or whether I'd rather him just get it over with. So yeah, I was just curious what you guys thought on that. Satsu, you care to weigh in there? They think I've gone a little too deep here.
Too deep
in the chat.
I don't know. Like if I have a general thing about like suffering consequences for an action I never committed in the first place. But like, I feel like as long as you're still alive, there's a chance that your innocence can still be proven, as long as that's something that's still being pursued. But once you die, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, even if later on they found out, like, oh, we were wrong, well, it doesn't matter, like, because you're dead. So who cares? So
what if you died in prison? I mean, you're still dead, and they find out you're.
That's true, but you know, and then that would just mean that ruling is essentially what killed you, and your innocence in that case was disregarded, or it was not pursued properly, and that ruling at that point was what killed you. So somebody, I feel like, should be held accountable for that at the very least, especially if the case wasn't properly handled and looked at to its fullest extent, and that's what got you placed there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should be losing their job.
It's always amazing to me when cases like this, whether it's a life sentence or just convicted of a crime you didn't commit, how there are almost no to low penalties for the people involved that made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who's that prosecutor in New York right now? What the hell is his name? No, he's a cop. He's a cop that. Is it a cop or a prosecutor? I don't remember. There's a big case going on in New York right now where all of these cases are being overturned because the guy involved was a fucking lying douchebag.
Right.
The other one that really got me in that discussion between Ben Shapiro and Joe Rogan was the idea of having tests to be able to vote.
Oh no, really?
Now, this is not a test on how smart you are, just on the ability to know what's going on. Like, say, in order to vote in 2016, you would have had to been able to say, Donald Trump is for repealing NAFTA, Hillary is for keeping it, that kind of thing, just to know where people stand on the issues.
Willful ignorance is a form of free expression.
Yeah.
That's my reflexive answer to that.
So, because somebody else brought this up in Canada, you can. Somebody sent this to me on Twitter. You can vote. Basically, you don't like anybody, and you can go turn in your ballot, and they just mark it. They didn't like anyone. Do you think everybody should vote?
I think everybody should have the right to, as long as it's within the, as long as they're within their rights to still, I guess, have the right to vote. But no, I don't think everybody should do a lot of things.
Do you mean should everybody vote as in like legally required to, or just on like a moral basis?
Both. Start with legally required.
Legally required? No. Like this past election, I very pointedly left the presidential box blank.
But you still voted.
Oh, yeah, I voted for the local stuff, yes. But I didn't vote for president because I did not want to put my name behind either of the candidates or any of the third-party ones. I didn't like any of them. So, no, you shouldn't be legally required to. I think, a side thing, I think time allowed to vote and turn in your ballot should be extended. It should be made a national holiday or something, or a weekend. But other than that, no, nobody should be required to, because not voting is, again, a form of free expression.
Yeah, I'm not for being forced to vote. I think that's bad. And people go, well, you could always vote none of the above. No, I shouldn't have to vote if I don't want to.
Right.
But I do think a lot of people probably shouldn't vote. And what I mean by that is exactly what a test like this would show, is that they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And yes, being ignorant is fine, and it's you're right and all. But it bothers me that somebody who's knowledgeable can have their vote undone by somebody who's literally only heard Donald Trump sucks or Hillary Clinton sucks. there's good reasons to vote for either side, and it does annoy me that there's people out there who get to vote simply because they're alive and they have no fucking idea what they're talking about. Real quick, Sugar thank you. My wife went to the doctor and was diagnosed with low blood pressure. He wrote her a prescription for 2 sets of IKEA shelf assembly wardrobes. Nice.
That is hilarious.
Well,
Jack Gunsky, real quick, Jack
right.
says, how do you make such a test that has no political bias? Easy. Just go by you can go by the candidate statements. On our ballots, for any of the proposals that are before us each election, they tell you what the proposal does. And then if they just had a simple thing and asked, does this proposal do A, B, or C, and you get it wrong, then I don't think you should be able to vote on it. Because you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, sometimes I don't know that until after they send me the voters pamphlet that has all the breakdowns of the laws and things, you know, or the
Yeah.
laws and such.
I
I
think
would have no.
Oh, go ahead.
I'd have no problem with that being on the ballot itself. Okay, you answer this question, and whatever you say underneath may or may not be counted based on how dumb you are.
Isn't that called voting? I mean, you made your choice. It's like, well, you take it on faith the person has decided to inform themselves as much as they choose to inform themselves because you've given them the pamphlet that lays out, here's the law being proposed, here's the statement for, here's the statement against, here's the rebuttal, make your choice. I mean, that's how it works where I live. You get the I think like a week or two in advance of the ballot, or maybe along with it, I forget. You get that big booklet that says, here's all the candidates and their individual statements. Here's their, here's what they propose to do, or here's what they want to say. And here's all the things that are on the ballot as far as legislation or levies or whatever. And here's the details as written. This gives you an opportunity to make yourself informed in detail. If you choose not to and just vote blindly, so what? I don't know. I mean, if someone had made the exact same choices, who was uninformed about the issues, having been informed, what difference does it make?
They did it for a different reason.
So policing people's reasoning is necessary now? And
not policing their reasoning. Telling them if they want to vote, they need to be educated. I don't think that's a horrible thing.
I mean, as far as the results, I do think that the actual political party that's like representing us at the time would probably be a bit more reflective of what America wants if people were informed when they voted. But I think that things remain interesting, and we have this kind of weird system that we have right now because of the fact that some people just don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I don't know. I don't know.
Here's my thing. I'm not necessarily saying that this should be a law where people can't vote. I would like to see, instead of every time seeing something that says, make sure you go vote, it should say, make sure you go vote if you know what the fuck you're talking about. I think that the idea that people should inform themselves should be pushed as heavily as people going out and voting.
Sure. Now that I agree with. I mean, I think an informed electorate is, a smarter electorate, can make better decisions for themselves and the community and the country. Aside from promoting the notion that you should do that, and also maybe, I don't know, holding some kind, I don't know, like I don't want to say holding the media to account per se, but some way in which that information is more cleanly expressed to the public in an unbiased way before the candidates give a debate or something, or actually as far as I can tell, the only time that the most people in the country actually pay attention to politics is during the debates. All the other rumors and media mongering aside, more people watch the debates than anything else when it comes to the political process. If we actually had debates, and if the moderators of such actually held the candidates to account for sticking to the issues, maybe we'd have a more informed public rather than playing the popularity contest just who can get the next gaff or snipe in or whatever. But
yeah, there would have to be a lot of things that would change about both our media and the way information is like displayed to the public in order to make sure that everybody was what you would explain as properly educated on the situation. Because there's too many people with like agendas right now, and they're not really interested in everybody having all the information. They're interested in getting everybody to go whatever direction they want them to go in. And that's all that they care about.
Okay, I hate to interrupt real quick. Let me get this before it pops off the screen. Thank you, Terry Diamanis. Just have a 100 question political exam. For each question you get right, your vote counts an extra 1%. Interesting take. I'm sorry, Scribe. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know how in Britain they have those question time deals for the prime minister?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like all the lords and the MPs and everything get together and they can ask the PM whatever they want, basically, and hold his feet to the fire for a little while. It's basically a political reality show. If they did that in America, everybody and their brother would watch. Can you imagine Donald Trump having to stand to account in front of all of Congress and have to field, questions chosen at random or whatever for an hour? Everybody on the planet would watch that, even people who don't even live here. And it might make people more aware. And I'm not talking about Donald Trump, but any president. Obama should have had to go through that. Anybody.
See, I don't think it should just be them. I think we should do it with the leaders of the Senate and the House as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, there should be president time and then congressman time and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Real quick, Backscan had asked, can't you make the same argument for testing people to see if they get free speech? The world would be better with less dumb people speaking. The difference there is that when you vote, you actually affect the world in a meaningful way. You can make the argument that speech might do that, but when you elect somebody, you're definitely doing that. How many of these college student SJWs have absolutely no clue whatsoever? A lot of them, and they're trained that way.
Yeah. Is it their fault?
Yes.
Debatable.
It is because these are adults by the time they get to college. If not legally so, shortly thereafter. I mean, pretty much your first year of college, you're going to be 18, unless you are some genius who, you're Poindexter from Revenge of the Nerds.
Wait, who had that? I know who that was. From 30 something. I suddenly forgot his name. Timothy Busfield.
Oh yeah, I said Poindexter. Who was the kid?
Oh God, I can't remember the kid's name.
What was his name in the shit? I forget. Poindexter. Yeah, you're right. I used the wrong character. Anyway, Incel Casanova, thank you. Starship Troopers had it correct. Universal rights, but enfranchisement should be an earned privilege.
Earn your citizenship. Yeah.
I as I said, I just really wish that we would preach being knowledgeable as much as we do going out to vote, because so many people's like, just go vote. You need to vote. And no, you need to inform yourself, then vote. Well, no matter what side you come down on, inform yourself, then vote. Wormser, thank you, Captain Brambles. And
go ahead.
Oh, I think he was just acknowledging it was Wormser. Go ahead. What were you saying, Satsu?
Yeah, I agree with you, but and a lot of people, for the most part, I guess more people who are being more honest with actually wanting some type of change to come to our country that is actually beneficial. But the tactic of a lot of people right now is to keep people as ignorant as possible because they're easier to manipulate. The more they know about you, most likely, like judging from the, just the general etiquette of a lot of the politicians nowadays, the less likely they are to side with you. If they knew most of the shit that you're trying to conceal, then you probably wouldn't get voted for, which is why they bank on people being as dumb as possible and not knowing a lot of shit, because they're like, the less you know, the easier it is for us to just tell you shit. And if you don't go pursue that information, that's a win for us.
Yeah, I mean, playing the sleight of hand game where it's like, pay attention to this nonsense over here while, you know, the real stuff is just ignored because, and it's really easy these days because we're so sensationalist and we're so social media and our attention spans collectively last about, you know, the 12-second news cycle. You know, I mean, like how many times have we just on this show, after having read stories after stories after stories, been able to recall the stories that related to something that we're talking about now, because we actually paid attention to what was going on in the world. You know, if I hadn't read some of these stories, sometimes it's what like H.P. Lovecraft said, the most dangerous place for the human mind is the ability to correlate all of its contents. If you could actually associate everything that you know about things together, you'd know a hell of a lot more about the world.
Mm.
Let me ask you guys another question. I'm in hypothetical land here, and Backscan, this is partially based on what you said there. You said, I can agree with informing voters, but I think voting is an important part of free speech, so you shouldn't be tested. And I'm on the fence about this. I really am. Part of me is like, no, there should be no test to voting, but should retarded adults be allowed to vote?
Well, that comes down to an intelligence test. And we don't want that.
So if somebody is basically a child, but they're 35, should they be allowed to vote?
Well, if they're still required to pay taxes and do everything else like everybody else should be is doing to the same capacity, then yeah, or in the same capacity, I should say. If they're still going to expect them to function like a normal person in society despite their holdups and hold them to the same standard as everybody else for the most part, then I don't see why not.
That's a fair answer.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting at there is I'm going to the extreme of the intelligence, because there are people who I think are too stupid to vote. And I mean that in the most genuine way possible. They are too goddamn stupid to vote, and I know them. I am surprised they can figure out how to fill out little bubbles. We saw some of them during the Bush Gore election. They couldn't figure out how to read their ballots. If you guys remember, part of the problem with that, we were told, is that Al Gore's name, it was too hard to tell you were voting for Al Gore. If you couldn't tell who you were voting for, you're too dumb to vote. And I have no problem saying that. But people can use their vote in any way they want, and that's fine. I agree with that sentiment. But I do think you should be able to mock people if they tell you something stupid, like they voted for somebody because they had good hair. I mean, yeah. it's still their vote to use, but I've heard this idea that, you know, it's their vote. They can use it however they want to. Like, yeah, they can. But I can mock them for being morons.
Yeah, you sure can. Yeah, and that is the beauty of free speech, good sir.
Snubber said, would the retard vote be large enough to sway anything? Well, California all went to Hillary, so I'm going to say yes.
Although she still lost.
She did still lose, but yeah, she won California before they even started counting the votes.
Yeah.
So now Monkey wants to allow people to vote as they want, but wanted it restricted before. I didn't say they couldn't vote how they wanted to. I said they needed to inform themselves before they voted. That's different. And as I said, I'm on the fence on this. There's part of me that thinks that if you can't tell me what is going on in the election, you probably shouldn't be involved.
Yeah, I think you guys should take what Monkey's saying as more of an opinion, more so as I think this should be enforced. Because that's how I'm looking at it. Like, I don't presume to speak for Monkey, but I don't think you necessarily mean like this should be law.
I would not have a problem with commercials saying, look, if you don't know what's going on in this election, keep your ass home. I would have no problem with that. Do I think I'm very much the same with compulsory voting, whether it's yes or no. I don't think it should be forced either way. But I wouldn't mind seeing a test and seeing that tried to see what happens, because there are way too many stupid people voting. What else do I have here? I don't think we talked about this. We've talked many times about how humans seem to need religion. And they're drawn to things to, like social justice, for instance, is basically a religion right now. You either believe in it or you don't, and the people who do are fanatics. They're zealots about it. They brought up the idea on this again, guys. Ben Shapiro hosted Joe Rogan on his channel. I think it was last Sunday before last, one of the two. Check it out. It's an excellent discussion. But they talked about how part of the polarization of our society right now is the breakdown of the church, because we just don't have the communal institutions that the church was. And I was wondering if you would agree with that. And specifically you, Scribe, because I know you and me have talked about the religion thing many times. Do you think society is suffering because we don't have something, not necessarily a church, but something like that, where everybody comes together once a week and hangs out with people that they are philosophically opposed to on politics, but are still bound by something else? Whoops.
Well, I guess the question would have to be, was our society better when that was taking place more often? Because when everybody was operating underneath the notion of religion, for example, let's name your Abrahamic religion, civil rights were in the toilet for a lot of people. Women were restricted a lot more culturally than they are now. And, you know, if you replace religion specifically with some kind of otherwise unifying ideology, social justice, would the world be a better place if we all came together under that rubric? I don't think so. I mean, now, of course, the question is, are things bad now as compared to then? That'd be my first question, is to try to answer that. Answer your question, I guess.
Let me get these super chats real quick, and then I will address that. Nope says, how about a language test? Frankly, all of our voting should be done in English. Snubber, thank you. Nope. That would be ableist. No, anybody can learn a language. And James Colley, thank you. Beep beep. I'm a sheep. Meow meow. I'm a cow. That is all. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I think we have a tendency when we talk about things like this to go back to like the 50s and 60s. But I grew up in the 80s. We went to church when I was little. God, let's see, we went twice on Sunday and on Wednesday, so 3 times a week. Excuse me. And again, things were decidedly better than they were in the 60s. And it wasn't the move away from religion didn't come for another decade at least. So I think it's hard to look at it and just go like, was it better then or better now? What I'm talking about mostly is the idea of community. Even if you look at something like take comic books, we're at the point now where people are who should be drawn together under the banner of I love comics, arguing with each other over goddamn politics.
Well, I feel like that's only because of who's at the helm of the movement right now, because basically the push for unity, and I'm using quotes right now is to disenfranchise white people as much as possible. Like that's what the push is. They're like, as much as we can drag white people down, the more we can rise up. And it's not actually about everybody coming together on equal footing. It's about bringing white down as much as they possibly can, so that way colored people can take the new the new place as the and that's why we're all the talk about white people are going to be replaced in a couple years and all that type of stuff. And that's why it's openly okay to talk shit and say bad things about white people in mainstream media. And it's perfectly fine, because the push is not for actual unity. It is to take down another group in order to take their place, which is not going to get us to that point. Now, if there was an actual shift towards actual equality, and there was like an active movement being put forth to pursue that in its, you know, in what we would consider the proper way, then yeah, that could probably work. Of course, people coming together is, I wouldn't say that's ever a bad thing, but the way that it's being implemented now is not, it's not going to get us there. Like we won't, that's not going to be the result, at least, or at least I don't think so.
I would argue that the concept of community isn't dead. It's just far more disparate than it was in the past, because what are we doing right now? What is our chat? What is Kumite? What is any other of the myriad of splinter interests or fascinations or whatever else that go on the internet every day? It's just that when there wasn't an internet, when there wasn't an interconnectivity with social media and YouTube and everything else, there were only a couple of channels. There was ABC, NBC, Judaism, and Christianity. You know, so I think communities still exist. There's just a lot of them now, and they, for lack of a better phrase, and I can't think of a better one, many of them intersect.
Huh.
And that causes strife, because now instead of having, this is Christianity, we are together under this flag, I'm a gamer, but I'm also a feminist, but I'm also a this and a that and the other thing. And therefore, I can't come to terms all at once in one thing because I have to be loyal to everything. I think the problem is tribalism. It's not the absence of a community or the absence of some kind of unifying activity or whatever. It's saying that unless you are 100% with me, you are not with me, but not just on religion, but on multiple levels now.
Oh yeah. And
sense?
it's,
Well, I agree, and that's kind of where I see the difference between say a church and identifying yourself as a Southern Baptist and identifying yourself as a gamer. Excuse me. A Southern Baptist might be a Republican, a Democrat, a lesbian, whatever, whatever they were, but they were still a Southern Baptist, and they would treat the people within the church at least cordially.
Okay.
But when you look at the tribes today, for lack of any better word, what you end up seeing is that just what you said. If you don't agree with me on everything, well, then you're not really one of these. And I don't know if maybe that's because everything is political now. But I do see a lack of what there used to be, to where me and Sophane had an argument the other day on Twitter, and a couple of people were really worried that we were having a falling out. It's like, no, guys, we just disagree.
Right.
It happens. That's fine. And I got to tell you too, I've really enjoyed this deep topic time. You guys have answered very well, and this is what I like. I like these kind of conversations.
Well, the real question is, can I vote now?
No, not you.
Oh, really quick, I wanted to add. I think that very example that you gave with you and Sophane is the evolution of what it means to be a community that we need to reach. Not to have an ideology that imparts a sort of overall respect even after difference, but just an overall respect even with difference, despite beliefs. And
yeah,
so I hope that what you and Sophane had going and what we have here is the new normal that gets pushed as we get more, because at some point we're going to be so interconnected about so many things. The idea that you're going to have to take up one side when everybody is aware of how many interests everybody holds is going to be exhausting. It's not going to make any sense. You're just going to have to like draw a line and say, okay, we can disagree on this, but at least we still like Spider-Man, you know?
Yeah.
I think, and I might be quoting this wrong, but I think I heard a saying recently where they said, in order to live in an ideal world, nobody has to be like, nobody will be satisfied.
Yeah.
Basically meaning like, you know, everybody's going to have to compromise in some way, shape, or form in order for everybody to be as happy as they can be. Now, there's no point of
just like pure, straight up 100% happiness. But in an ideal world, like no one's getting exactly what they want.
Well, that's the old adage of how do you know you've had a successful negotiation when everybody leaves a little bit unhappy?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that so many people are really focused and truly believe that they can reach this goal of I can be 100% have everything I want to happen. I can have it happen in every way that I want it to be. And they strive for that when it's just not a thing. And I think that's what kind of holds people up a lot is they have these goals that are, I guess saying unreachable is probably a bit much, but unrealistic under the circumstances, because you still have to live on the earth with these other people. And I think that's what people keep forgetting is like these people aren't going nowhere. They still have to be here. Even if all of your dreams come true, you still have to share the earth with a bunch of unsatisfied people who aren't just going to sit around and be unsatisfied, just like you didn't to get what you wanted. And people tend to forget that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
With that, guys, it is chat time. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints. I want to add to anything we've said so far. I've been trying to keep an eye as we go because this was a fun conversation and a lot went on. But if you have more you want to know, or if there's other topics, throw them into chat right now. We actually have a good one to start us out from Richard Art. It says, why do adults find it disrespectful when you don't let them disrespect you? I grew up in a time where it was preached, you respect your elders, and I've never been one of those people. I do not believe in respecting somebody just because of their age. And now that doesn't mean being disrespectful.
Right.
But by that same token, there are a lot of adults who whether they forgot what it was like to be a kid or they're just arrogant assholes, they treat kids like shitheads, and they're assholes. That's why.
I will say that, even in the absence of knowing anything about a person, if I see an elderly person shuffling along, after friends of mine who are elderly, after my own family and everything else, I always think to myself, that is my future.
Yeah.
So there's no thought in me to ridicule or pity, because we're all going to go there, hopefully, knock wood, and that's just the reality. But yeah, you don't automatically defer respect to somebody because of their age. Presumably, you defer respect to them for who they are and what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, presumably.
And this is a thing with kids, and I was one too, so trust me, I understand it. When you're a kid, you think you're a lot smarter than you are.
Yep.
And a lot of times what may seem like them disrespecting you is them just trying to get through to you. I've done this on I can't remember the conversation, but somebody said something on Twitter. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought at 18 too. And they got mad because I was using their age against them. I'm like, no, I've been there. There actually is a thing called wisdom, and it comes with age. If you pay attention to life, you'll learn a lot of lessons that you might know. Maybe you're smart enough to pick it up at 18, but chances are you're not going to get it until life kicks you in the ass. So
the phrase that I like is the longer I live, the smarter my father has become.
Yeah. And
because for as much as I differed with him in the past and everything else, the things he said way back when make a hell of a lot more sense now than they did when I was younger.
Yeah. Jim says, did you guys enjoy the comic? I still haven't read it, but I will. I promise you. I just haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah, I got the pages and the link. I gotta sit down and take a look.
I've actually had quite a few encounters with a particular adult in my life who he was very stern on the policy that I'm older than you, so I know better than you. Like regardless, like no matter what the topic is, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm older than you. I know better. And me and him had really got into it because at the time, like he was going through this situation. He had just gone through like a situation to break up with his girl, and he had some issues at his job and stuff that's going on. And I had got really upset because I'm like, look, I'm doing the things in my life, and I've made these decisions, and I've gotten to this point, on my own 2 feet. I've made these choices, and here I am.
You know, so you telling me that what I'm doing isn't good or I shouldn't be doing that when I'm doing fine, you know, and you're going through a divorce and having issues with your job and not stable right now and having problems. Like, I feel what you're saying. Yes, you are older and you have more wisdom, but I'm doing way better than you right now, sir. like what is your excuse? How come with all that wisdom, here you are and here I am? And that's not to say that I am saying that I'm better than you in any way. That's just saying that what you're saying is not as definitive as you think it is. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, they're 15-year-old kids right now graduating from college because they have amassed enough knowledge in order to, you know, to do shit like that. Yes, you may be older and you have more experience, but that doesn't mean that that's the end all be all. Like, I just know everything and you know nothing. So there is a point to that.
Here's what they forget to tell you when they talk about how old and wise or how wise and intelligent old people are. Really stupid young people often grow into really stupid old people.
Right.
That's just fact. I know a lot of really stupid people that span generations. We've got a lot of questions here. Let's we're gonna have to switch it up just a bit. Where was the next one I saw there? Did you deal with teachers pushing their politics on you in school? When I was in school, that was like strictly verboten. You did not do that. My teachers did not talk to me about their politics.
Yeah, that was not even discussed, except for my economics teacher. But it wasn't him like pushing his politics on me. It was him comparing, you know, his politics to what was going on at the current time, and you know, he was giving us perspective on his age and, you know, how he's looked at it over a while. But it was never implied that we needed to follow that. It was just like, you know, he kind of had to as a point of reference to let us know where he's coming from, because we had a lot of deep conversations and stuff. And it was insightful. You know what I mean? Even if we disagreed, it wasn't for the purpose of manipulation or trying to turn us. It was just like, this is what I think.
Puttick asks, do you think fulfillment should be promoted more than happiness? I think these days people lack a sense of fulfillment. I think they tend to go hand in hand.
One would hope. Yeah.
Yeah. I do. I see your point there. I think a lot of people are unhappy because they're not fulfilled. But I think that in both cases, looking for happiness and fulfillment, sometimes people set their goals way too high.
Yeah.
For
or their
me,
expectations, not necessarily their goals, but their expectations that, like, of either for themselves or what the world owes them from time to time, which I hate. Like, you
know. Let's see. Excuse me. All this wisdom from boomers got us 19 trillion in debt. No. No.
The Cold War did that.
that is boomers. That is the greatest generation. That is Gen Xers, and it is millennials. All of them have had a hand in that. And if you voted for any president in the last since the 80s, basically, you've helped make that $1 trillion debt, no matter how old you are. If a person believes they were born in the wrong body, would they still be the same person if they were born in the correct body? That's a good question. Probably not. The things that shape them would be different. They would still be, I mean, maybe if you're looking at it from like a very... no, they would not be the same person. The strife changes you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Experience is king, I think, depending on what you've gone through. And what's so fascinating about that is you can put 10 or 15 people through the same ringer in the exact same way, and they still might all come out differently. You just, you never know.
James says, I do apologize with unrelated super chats. Just wanted to give you money. The deep topic just didn't interest me tonight. Never apologize for super chats, dude. I am more grateful than I can put into words. I appreciate the support. I really do. And sorry Sorry we weren't interesting tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel bad.
Well, no, I mean, I never expect people to be 100% interested in everything we talk about. I'm like,
I do. Do you know how awesome I am?
I think that's part of the problem, Monkey. No.
Face says time log does not mean lessons learned. Yeah, that is true. There are people who make the same mistakes over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I wasn't here during the week. Did you guys talk about Wazlee? He hid most of his videos. I tried finding out on his Twitter, and apparently he's sick of this shit. I didn't talk about it. I didn't know he had done that. I'm curious what he means by he's sick of this shit. I'll have to look it up. I like Waz, but I have noticed on Twitter he's not necessarily moving left, but certainly attacking anti-SJWs a lot more than he used to. Thank you, William Savage. Just showed up after a Poisoning the Well stream lateral move. Very drunk. All the love for Lords of the Nights. I'll listen on the morrow. Thank you so much for the donation and coming by and listening tomorrow. I think you'll enjoy it. It was a great show. Unless you ask James Colley. Terry Diamante says, I voted for exactly 0 presidents. So there. Yeah. Well, your country's not $19 trillion in debt either. I don't think your country could even fathom the idea of $19 trillion. How does a biological man know what a biological woman feels like? Jack, you're going to get me in trouble. Okay. Even with people who have dysphoria, that is something in their brain telling them that they're not what they're supposed to be. And I've often wondered this. How do you know that you don't feel exactly like a man feels?
Right.
And if it boils down to I don't like long hair or I don't like to wear dresses, well, there's a lot of women who don't like long hair, wear dresses, or guys who like long hair and want to wear dresses. There's plenty of them too. What it boils down to is it is a mental disorder. Dysphoria is a mental disorder, and when it comes to transgenders, they're just full of shit and want attention. So.
Yeah, well, another one of the things that I pointed out when it came to that situation is I that's why I don't get non-binary. Like, I just cannot accept the concept of like non-binary, because I'm just like, the fact that you were saying that you feel like anything other than what you are, like I'm a male in a female's body or vice versa or anything like that, like you're acknowledging the fact that there's a binary. Like the very acknowledgement of the binary is what enables trans people to technically exist, because you couldn't feel like you were in another like in the opposite sex bodies if there was no opposite sex. Like, that's not possible. There's no way you could feel that. And for you to feel that, you have to believe that there is some type of binary, something that sets women and men apart, for you to feel like that you're in the wrong body. Like, you have to. There's no way around it. You absolutely have to feel like there's something different between men and women for you to make that claim. And then they're like, oh, no, there's no difference. So I'm like, there has to be, though, or else you wouldn't feel like you were in the wrong place. You would just feel like you.
Thank you, Mash. Monkey Cryptic wants me to tell you to fix your Streamlabs. He says to convert it to a business account. Yeah, I'll look at it and see what's going on there. And Mash also asked if we know there's a new Halloween movie coming out. I didn't, yes. But I'm not surprised.
It's being done. So they're ignoring all of the sequels, basically. I think all except the second one. I think they said the first two still happen, kind of thing. And they're restarting it, basically, but just ignoring everything else. I've seen the trailer. It doesn't look all that much different from a whole bunch of other Halloween movies to this point. It's obvious that the people who are putting it together are real fans of the source material, which I appreciate. And I've seen some interviews with the guys that are doing it. So I have hope that it's going to be good, but it's one of those things where it's like, why bother at this point?
Yeah, I have no with something like that. When we talk about sequels and stuff, those have been done to death to the point I don't have a problem if they make new ones. if it brings the lore to new people, well, okay. I mean, my only problem is they're not going to show titties, and that's what slasher movies were always for, and so I won't watch.
Oh, they
Real
might.
quick, Kelvin asked what movie we're watching this Sunday. We're not. Tomorrow is my son's birthday. I will be spending the day with him.
Yeah, maybe next weekend, and it's on my channel whenever. The two that I've suggested to Monkey that I have copies of now are Wolf with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer, and G.I. Jane with Demi Moore, which I think is a far more interesting movie today, given the climate of things, than it might have been way back when.
Sovereign Speaks asks, any advice for growing Twitter? Be funny. There's two ways you can really grow on Twitter. Be funny, hit as many hashtags as you can, or say something excessively stupid.
Yeah. You have to tweet often, like very often.
What if you had to vote on issues, not people? Vote yes or no on different issues. Then at the end, the candidate that chooses the candidate those choices represent is shown to you. You then choose after that. I mean,
that
would just be, yeah, but I still think you should get the choice to vote for the other one if you wanted to. I mean,
well, like blind voting, basically.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so like the idea of a blind interviewing process for businesses and things.
Oh, going back to that advice for growing on Twitter. Also, interact with people on Twitter nicely. People that you like. You can argue with people too, but people will follow you back if you have nice conversations with them. So,
or call Monkey a commie.
Yeah, call me a commie, and they'll give you the finger, and everybody will laugh.
Respond to actual retweets and like tweets too, and like them. The more you're seen, because every interaction you do is seen on Twitter in some way, shape, or form, and the more you make your name seen, the more you pop up in people's feed, the more familiar your name becomes, and people just kind of do it instinctively. They're like, I see this person all the time. Maybe I'll follow him. It just kind of happens that way. It's tedious as fuck, man, but you gotta do it.
Incel Casanova said, are you excited for Dietland, a new AMC show starring a fat, positive feminist?
Plum Kettle. Yes, this is based on a book that I think it was Sargon that did a review of a couple of years ago. It's basically Fight Club, but with girls who are like taking back the power, and the main character is a overweight girl who's, body positivity and stuff, and she joins some kind of militant feminist group. I'm not excited for it. That's a short version of all that. Like, no.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about it, so I can't comment. Sorry.
Yeah.
Backscan said, I had to go AFK for a bit there. Did I miss anything? Oh, dude, you picked the absolute worst time to miss the show. It's going to be stream lore. You'll have to go back and watch. I would tell you about it, but it wouldn't do it justice. Let's see. What else do we have here, guys? Sorry, I'm eating a cake into my mic. I shouldn't do that.
Well, we didn't know about it until you said it, so.
Oh, I can hear myself because, you can hear yourself inside your head, so I just assumed you guys could hear. Okay, I'm eating a cake, and I like it.
Monkey ate a cake, and he liked it.
Let's see. What else do we have? We've had so many questions, guys. If I've missed yours, I am so sorry.
No, he's not.
Evo says, I just got back and have been unpacking and recovering from Greek. Ooh,
from Greek or Greece?
Yeah, from Greek. Tell him to spit on it next time, sweetie. You'll feel better.
Wow.
Sovereign Speak says, is it racist to follow Richard Spencer even if damn, my chat jumped. It depends on why whatever the rest of your question was, it depends on why you're following him. Oh my God, Incel, yeah, that would be great. Any Which Way But Loose for movie night. It has a monkey. It actually has an orangutan. Clyde, Left Turn. I love that movie. I don't know if that would be one we would do, though. That is such a great movie. Backscan says, you can hear yourself inside your head. They make pills for that, don't you? I'm on several of them. Monkey, Scribe, and Satsu. When has it become okay to try and push your personal views on your students? My English teacher says I can't have an opinion because I'm the wrong color.
What?
Get her or him on tape saying that.
Yeah. Report that shit. Fuck
Yeah,
that.
you need to get actual audio evidence.
Yeah.
Record it and send me that footage.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so Monkey can break the news.
We will make your teacher famous.
Yeah.
I don't know when it became okay to do this. I imagine it's because of what has become of colleges, where that's what they do now, is they push ideology rather than education. And when you're training the teachers of tomorrow using that method, it's going to trickle down.
Well, it just, like I said before, it's really funny how we came from this generation of people who use those tactics to disenfranchise, the people who are being held up at this current moment, and tell them, like, you're black or whatever color, your opinions don't matter because of the color of your skin. The color of your skin makes you somehow inferior or less worthy. And they're just like, we want to adopt that practice and make it, this is our thing now. But it's not wrong when we do it. It's justice when we do it, but it's horrible if anybody else does it. History shows that this thing is terrible. Let's imitate it. Fucking
Nick
idiot.
says, on tape, I'm that old too, but no one has to record anything on tape for years. Yeah, okay. I still say albums too.
Record it, film it, cell phone it, telegraph it. I don't know.
You know what I saw at Walmart the other day? They are actually selling LPs.
Hey, lo-fi stuff is becoming popular again. Retro games, retro technology.
Well, they have some good ones in there, all from the 80s, of course, 80s or before. And yeah, these things were like $25 each. I suck my ass. I'll get the CD.
LPs do sound better. Well-maintained LPs sound a hell of a lot richer than DVDs, CDs do.
What's your favorite movie with a monkey? Oh,
favorite movie with a monkey?
Probably Every Which Way But Loose. I fucking love that movie. The ending sucks. It goes on for too long, but it's a good movie until about
28 days later.
Oh, Outbreak. No. Yeah, I can't think of any others that really have monkeys in them. I'm sure there's plenty.
Like Monkey Shines or Congo. Bruce Campbell at Congo. That had monkeys in it.
Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan. Yeah.
Greystoke. There you go. Yeah.
Nope. You win. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Absolutely.
Oh, that's true. Was it Capuchin or whatever?
Capuchin monkey in there. Yep.
Yeah.
He's evil too.
Yeah, he's an evil thief monkey.
Sarah, the next movie you should have watched, we're still up in the air. It's between Wolf and G.I. Jane, depending on which one I can get my hands on. What's the worst movie you've ever watched? Oh, Sovereign, that's we get that question now and then, and it's hard to say. I've lately been going with Bonfire of the Vanities because I really hated that movie.
Fear.com.
Guys, we
get her on that one.
7 minutes left. 7 minutes. Questions, comments, concerns, compliments. We like those as well.
Mm-hmm.
Compliments are nice.
What was the movie about the monkey spreading the virus? That was
28 days later.
Yeah,
28 days later.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's probably. Well, no, there was Outbreak. Outbreak also had a monkey that spread the disease. So yeah,
I think Zombies was like that too.
Yeah, Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman and Morgan Freeman and Kevin Spacey, by the way.
Yeah.
All three of which have been accused of sexual harassment now. There is a hat trick to a movie.
Wait.
Yes, Outbreak.
It's an outbreak of sexual harassment.
Oh,
thank you, Timothy Spielberg. Scribe, analog is higher fidelity than digital. Fair enough.
Yes.
I know people who love albums. I like the more clean sound of digital. I really do. Scribe Light, is that ass as sweet as your voice?
Yes.
There you go.
I suppose. It depends on how sweet you find my voice. I think it's kind of low and kermity. So if that's how you like your asses, then I suppose I've got
He's
the
got a
ass of a
low
frog.
hermity ass.
Yeah, I've got the ass of a felt frog. Felt frog? What the fuck is wrong with my voice tonight?
Satsu does not. He's got a badonkadonk, y'all.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
man.
What? I've seen your ass. And you know what? His mom got a nice ass too. What?
You've seen it, so
I know. She showed it to me when I asked.
I will say,
be like, you ain't seen my mom's ass. Yes, I have.
well, see, I can't. That's why I was like, I can't be like, yeah, you haven't even, yeah, you. All right.
I will say, not driving and walking everywhere has maintained my legs and my posterior in good form, I'll say.
Terry, I think you and me would get along very well in real life. He says, Ranting Monkey, compliments you say. There are other people that suck more than you do. You're welcome.
Oh!
I actually appreciate it.
The soft bigotry of low expectations.
Yes. BG's being mean. BG, you know the rules. You can't be mean for another 15 minutes or so.
No.
I won't acknowledge you being mean for another 15 minutes or so.
You put him in timeout?
No, I just ignore him like he's not there. I say his
I see.
name so he knows I read it and then refuse to give him.
Oh, I see. All right.
It's all I got. AIU just got 2 strikes. AIU gets strikes all the time.
Yeah, he does.
And he's one of those people like Sinatra started being like that. He just got hit again.
Really?
There's certain people who have irritated the wrong crowds, and these crowds just go around doing nothing but fucking flagging, and it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Monkey sounds sexy. Why, thank you. Will the Mexicans enforce see-through ponchos?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Corey, maybe.
Or see through, I don't know, like see through podiums at the political rallies. Oh man, that still just boggles my mind.
I mean, see-through podiums would have presumably made him easier to shoot.
Backscan says, Monkey, do you have a friend you haven't freaked out by perving on their mom or grandma? Probably not. I like women.
Especially older women.
I didn't say I was going to mount Satsu's mom. She just has a fine ass. She knows it. She stood up and shouted it. Scribe Light, you have a great voice. Still wish you could sing Rainbow Connection.
You know, that has come up once or twice. I tried to make a parody of it at one point. I forget exactly what I was trying to parody it for, but oh, the emotional connection. That's what it was. Yeah. So yeah, sometime we'll find an emotional connection. The lovers, the dreamers, the cucks, something like that.
All right, guys, we got 3 minutes left. I want to remind you, there is no movies you should have watched this Sunday. There is a zombie stream right after this over on the channel 2 Cents Plus. That's the number 2 Cents Plus, all one word. Join us. It'll be Horde Night. If you guys are interested in that, make sure you get there quick because Horde Night is going to be like as soon as we start, like 10 minutes in.
Yeah, Dim Zambi's gonna be coming.
Yep. You guys are so funny. Thank you, Zed. We try. Zed Des. I like what you did with your name there. I see. Have Barney ruined your childhood? I actually never watched Barney when I was young. I watched it with Little Butt, and she loved it. And I actually like a lot of Barney. It's just, it reminds me of the old shit that I grew up with, like Mr. Rogers almost. It's just silly stuff, kind of giving kids a little bit of a lesson, but not like forcing it down their throat and singing and having fun. So
I can do a decent Barney impression. Not that I'm proud of that. I never really watched the show, but I saw enough of it to get the voice down.
Scribe, my opinion of you is low enough. Cut it out.
Well, hey, it can't go much lower than 0, right?
Well,
Satsu's going to debate. Well, actually, oh man, you want to talk about if you want to really depress yourself, watch Less Than Zero, Requiem for a Dream, and Leaving Las Vegas, and you'll want to slit your wrists by the end of the night.
I watched because I was fans of all of the people in Less Than Zero way back when it first came out. I'm like, oh, cool, this will be a great movie. I had no idea what it was about, so I rented it and I watched it. I'm like, is Robert Downey Jr. blowing a dude for coke?
Yeah. Oh, that movie. God, it's the same author, Bret Easton Ellis, as American Psycho. Oh my God,
it was a good movie.
Oh no, it's a great movie. It's just so dark.
It was, yeah. Oh, it could have fleshed it out just a little bit more, but yeah, it was a good movie, and so much better than that shit movie St. Elmo's Fire that got all the.
The Brat Pack. Fuck that shit.
Great song, shitty movie.
Yes.
And with that, guys, we're gonna wrap this one up and move on to our day off. So, chat, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks for the interaction and hanging out every night. You guys are amazing, and I mean that sincerely. And everyone who donated, thank you so much. It is, as I said, more appreciated than I can put into words. Scribe, Satsu, a pleasure as always. Everyone, I have to talk for just a moment because it's 11 o'clock. Your lives make me sad. We'll see you next time. Say bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Purple Moose.
Did I say bye right?
You did. Scribe, you missed it the other day when you weren't here.
Oh.
Hammer and Chaos both sat in with us, and
yeah. I saw the first few minutes of the stream, and Chaos was here.
Yeah. At the end, as happens sometimes with guests, I had to tell them say bye. I had to tell Satsu too because he forgot to say goodbye.
No, you didn't. That's not true.
It's on tape.
That never happened.
And bye, guys. We'll see you next time.
Fuck off.